shut down traffic, but we were prepared and we shut down lasted less than 5 minutes. We were able to get the interstate cleared, and fortunately this time we didn't have any major issues with injuries or crashes. I do want to emphasize, however, that that tactic is extremely dangerous. We are very fortunate that nobody was killed. We're very fortunate that we didn't have several crashes. We at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office really work hard with our protest groups in the city. We recognize the fact that we have the right to protest lawfully. We work with our protesters regularly to make sure that they're safe. And unfortunately, these folks took it upon themselves to get the interstate and try to block traffic.
So the moment this became illegal, they stepped on the interstate. There was nothing wrong with them being on the pedestrian.
There's nothing wrong with them being on the catwalk. It is illegal, though, to be on the interstate as a pedestrian.
Talk about the conversation that you had with them as you arrived to the scene.
I didn't actually speak to them. The officers consent to them. And the officers emphasized to them that what they were doing was extremely dangerous. And actually gave them some options on where they could take the protest if they wanted to engage in their public speech.
Why were they not cited or charged?
We issued a couple of pedestrian citations for lawfully being on the interstate.
And Chief, you mentioned the department is well aware about these 2 cases that have been igniting protests across the country. And I don't want to say it was a matter of time it was going to happen in your city, but clearly have you been preparing for something like this to have happened in Jacksonville?
We have a very robust group of officers that work with our protesters. We've had probably less than half a dozen protests in the city just in the past 7 days. So we're ready and willing to work with our protesters. We were hoping that this would happen here, but we have to be prepared. So we were prepared just in case it didn't, and unfortunately this one did.
And I'm assuming you're staying prepared in case something like this were to happen again in the coming days.
Absolutely. We'll have both marked and unmarked police units up and down the interstate and attempt to deter this type of action. This is, I can't say this enough, that tactic is extremely dangerous. And there's the potential of somebody getting hurt.
The one thing that protesters talked about was a large response quickly. The guy said before they turned around there was a dozen officers there. Is that kind of the plan, is to get as many as you can there quickly to, in a sense, keep it as quiet as possible?
I won't go too much into our tactical plans, but Assistant Chief Johnson, who is the zone commander, and has been talking with his team about how to respond in case there was an attempt to shut down the interstate. So they were very well prepared.
So since